Chapter 194. Blood Curtain Skyflower. Translator, Skyflower. Editor, Skyflower. First Gen Guye clenched his bloody fangs so hard that it made cracking sounds. But he couldn't even budge, much less struggle. Suddenly, another ball of light was captured by the yellow talisman, and it fell to the ground, turning into an alternating black and white Taiji light sphere. Two peculiar goo worms were circling and chasing each other within this light sphere. As the Taiji light sphere continued to rotate, they seemed to carry traces of great Tao, shocking many goo masters. What goo is this? Binding Bing and many others were bewildered. It actually is a rank 4. Fang Yuan's eyes focused in concentration. Yin-yang rotation goo! Sky Crane Lord screamed, his face clearly revealing his shock. He remained stunned for a while. Then he raised his head and laughed. My good senior brother, I truly have to thank you for finding such a good goo. Ha ha ha, you actually wanted to turn back into a human. But what a pity, for your plan has been destroyed by me. First Gen Guye anxiously moved his legs and snarled. He had completely lost his manners. Whether it was Blood Skull Goo or Yin-Yang Rotation Goo, they were both crucial to his plan that stretched through a millennium. Now they were both sealed and extracted. All his painstaking plotting had almost gone up into smoke now. Sky Crane. Lord's smile turned even more jubilant. His desire for vengeance was fully satisfied by seeing this expression of First Gen Guye. Another yellow light that was captured fell to the ground. It was a scarlet-colored goo and looked like a translucent water sphere. On seeing this goo, First Gen Guye suddenly stopped his struggle. He was exulted. He opened his bloody mouth, revealing his fangs as he shouted, Quick, destroy this goo worm! Several goo masters immediately moved forward upon hearing this and used their attacks. This goo had been sealed by Problem Nipped in the Bud Goo, stopping the First Gen Guye from activating it with his thoughts. There was a layer of yellow light on the surface carrying an imprint. It could only be unsealed by Tishueling or by using some special goo worms. However, this goo was an expendable goo and was special as it needed to be destroyed to be activated. Several goo masters made their moves. The yellow light imprint was only a sealing goo worm and didn't have any defensive powers. After several attacks, the yellow light imprint collapsed, destroying the sealed goo worm along with it. Buzz! A soft cry resounded, and a blood light bloomed, suddenly expanding and turning into a spherical shield within moments. First Gen Guye was within the shield, while Sky Crane Lord was outside. The blood-red shield's range was 6 mu, and Binding Bing and Fang Yan were both within the shield, whereas Xiongjiao Man and some others were outside. The most encouraging part was that the white eyebrows were instantly cut apart into 2 halves by this shield. With the disintegration of the white eyebrows, Fang Yuan and others recovered control of their bodies. The aura of this shield reaches rank 5, but why does it resemble the water curtain Skyflower goo? Fang Yuan was bewildered. He had never seen this goo before. Sky Crane Lord was separated by this shield, and he staggered up before laughing coldly. Senior brother, such a good move. You are actually able to counterattack and break my raised eyebrows. Exhale goo. It's a pity such a trifle defense won't work against me. You are just prolonging your imminent defeat by doing this. Ugly, First Gen Guye instead laughed loudly. Junior brother, how about testing it yourself? That's my intention. Killing intent flashed in Sky Crane Lord's eyes. Countless flying cranes and feather arrows shot toward the shield, while his eyes also sent out the white beams at the same time. However, the blood shield was still unshakable and was as stable as before. Sky Crane Lord's face turned extremely dark as he stopped his attacks. What goo is this? Guye first threw his head back and laughed. Let me teach you. This is my personally fused goo, Blood Curtain Skyflower goo. The Water Curtain Skyflower goo, a rank 4 goo, can block rank 5 goo attacks. This goo is at rank 5 and has even more powerful defense. Water Curtain Skyflower goo prevents its owner from going in and out. But this Blood Curtain Skyflower goo lets me go out. Junior brother, don't be impatient. You can attack slowly. Use all your strength. Just wait till I recover, then I'll come out and cut your dog head. Ahaha! You thief, keep on boasting. Sky Crane Lord was in turmoil. He had everything in his grasp before. But to think First Gen Gu Yue was able to recover some ground, and the situation turned into a deadlock again. He attacked madly and extremely fiercely, killing all the Gu masters outside the shield, including Xiongjiaman. However, inside the blood curtain Skyflower Gu, all was calm and quiet. The blood shield was as stable as Mount Tai, and the group of Gu masters inside the shield were relieved. First Ancestor is indeed an unrivaled hero. We are finally saved. The First Ancestor will show his divine might, and this person will definitely be defeated. This is the strength of rank 5 Gu Master? I am actually still alive in front of such strength. The Gu Masters cheered and shouted. On the contrary, Binding Bing snorted. His death was certain due to the 10 extreme aptitude, but this deadlock decreased the splendor of it, and he was not happy about it. Sky Crane Lord kept on attacking for a long while with no results. At one moment, he suddenly stopped as if he had woken up. First Gen Gu Yue's words were meant to incite him into attacking the blood curtain Skyflower Gu and wasting his primeval essence. If he wasn't wrong, this blood curtain Skyflower Gu had the same effect as water curtain Skyflower Gu. Its fusion price was extremely high and belonged to one-time use expendable category. But it had a high defense, albeit with a set duration. It would automatically dissipate after a certain amount of time. At this thought, Sky Crane Lord sat cross-legged, then took out 2 primeval stones and pinched them, starting to recover his primeval essence. Lend me a hand. You will only have a chance at life by helping me. Primeval stones. I need a large number of them. First Gen Gu Yue shouted. The surrounding Gu masters immediately took out primeval stones and piled them around him. First Gen Gu Yue opened his bloody mouth wide and breathed in deeply, sucking the primeval stones into his mouth. Crack! He chewed the primeval stones. Large amounts of natural primeval essence poured into his aperture. On seeing this, the Sky Crane Lord became anxious and started shouting, "Don't give them to him, you morons! Once he recovers his movement, he will kill you all and use your blood to upgrade his aptitude. You are causing your own doom." Using such a low-level tactic to sow distrust. So ridiculous. Quick, this old thief is telling us not to give it, so we need to give even more primeval stones. Everything depends on Lord Ancestor. Gu Masters provided the primeval stones generously, and soon great quantities of primeval stones entered First Gen Gu Yue's mouth. Fang Yuan and Binding Bing watched indifferently from the side. A normal body wouldn't be able to endure such a large amount of primeval essence pouring into them. But First Gen Gu Yue's blood-white zombie body was powerful and strong. The primeval essence in his primeval sea began to rise rapidly. The Demon Suppression Iron Chain. Gu was becoming weaker, and after quite a while it turned into a pool of blood. It had thoroughly died out. With the bindings gone, First Gen Gu Yue gave a long roar and activated his blood-white vital Gu. Great quantities of blood were absorbed into his body, and within moments his powerful arms grew back again, with claws as sharp as a knife. He gave a hearty laugh, then stood up. At this exact moment, the problem nipped in the bud Gu on his forehead also turned into a pool of blood and completely dissipated. It seems the heavens do not want me dead. First Gen Gu Yue threw his head back and laughed. We ask First Ancestor to behead this old thief. Once the Lord Ancestor makes his move, he will definitely succeed. The group of Gu Masters was elated. First Gen Gu Yue's laughter gradually stopped, and fire burned in his eyes as he spoke unhurriedly. I will of course kill my enemy, but before killing him, I still have something I need to do. Not good. Fang Yuan's heart suddenly jumped when he heard the tone of the voice, and he discreetly moved towards the outer edge of the group. The people beside him were puzzled by this, but they were still filled with high fighting spirit. We are not sure what First Ancestor has to do, but we will serve the Ancestor to the best of our abilities. First Gen Gu Yue threw his head back and cackled with laughter. Haha, the thing I need to do is to take your lives. What? The crowd turned pale with shock. First Jengu Yue, however, didn't hesitate to make his move. Squelch, his claw immediately pierced through a rank 3 Gu master near him. When he took back his palm, there was a pulsing heart on it. This Gu master was a Gu Yue clan member, and his expression was one of disbelief at this moment. He gave a loud scream, blood spurting out like a fountain, as he fell down with his head facing up. Good blood, it can't be wasted, First Gen Gu Yue exclaimed. With a shift of his mind, the blood skull Gu flew up and made one round around this Gu master's body. The Gu master's corpse twitched, and all the blood in him was extracted by the blood skull Gu, entering into its 2 empty eye sockets. After the blood skull Gu drank its fill, the blood stripes on its crystal skull turned even brighter. First ancestor, you? As the group retreated with all their might, someone cried out, Noisy! First Jengu Yue's figure flashed and appeared in front of this person, slashing his body into 2 with a knife. Blood spurted out and was absorbed by the blood skull Gu. First ancestor, you ungrateful beast, if not for our primeval stones, how could you have any fighting strength left? This first ancestor is no decent person. Everyone, let's attack together and kill him. That's right, there is power in numbers. A bloody massacre unfolded. First Jin Guye was a peak rank 5, and he had completely recovered his primeval essence. These Gu masters were just rank 1, rank 2, or at most rank 3, so how could they be his match? And this blood curtain Skyflower separated inside from outside, forming a sealed space. Only its master, First Jin Guye, could go out, but once he exited, he couldn't enter again. He would have to destroy the blood curtain Skyflower or wait for it to dissipate. The group of Gu masters weren't able to escape. They tried fighting, but were utterly defeated and killed by First Jin Guye. Except for Bai clans and Xiong clans Gu masters, he killed every Gu Yue clansman and used the blood skull Gu to absorb the blood. After killing several hundreds, the rank 4 blood skull Gu was glistening red, as it had reached the limit of what it could absorb. First Gen Gu Yue laughed loudly and summoned the blood skull Gu. The blood skull Gu came towards him and floated above his head. This day, this moment, my centuries of arduous planning has finally come to fruition. He let out a long exhalation of relief. At this moment, the blood skull Gu opened its tightly shut mouth and threw up a blood fountain. The blood fountain didn't have the fishy odor of blood, but instead let out a sweet, relaxing fragrance. This blood fountain poured from above First Jin Gu Yue and completely soaked him. However, what was strange and mysterious was that not even a drop of the blood fountain sprayed on the ground. All of the blood stuck to First Jin Gu Yue's body, then slowly seeped inside, finally reaching the aperture. First Jin Gu Yue stood on the spot. He was silent, and his head was down as he appreciated this moment. Suddenly, he burst out with a crazed laughter as he spoke. Kaka kaka, my aptitude has advanced. My aptitude has really advanced. The rest of the Gu masters tremored. Outside the blood shield, Sky Crane Lord pointed at First Jin Gu Yue and furiously shouted, Return my blood skull Gu back to me!